Flight 180. 17-year-old Alex Browning is about to board a flight to Paris with his high school class. It's an exchange trip, so everyone's excited, full of hope for the future. But Alex can't shake this weird feeling. Things start to feel off when a random guy suddenly shows up and hands Alex a pamphlet.
Death is not the end.
And it's definitely not the kind of topic you want to bring up at an airport, right? While waiting in the check-in line, things just keep feeling strange.
Persons unknown to you. September 25, 9:25.
The airline agent notices the flight leaves at the exact time and date as Alex's birthday, 9:25 on September 25th, which he sees as a sign. Add to that a few weird coincidences: a John Denver song playing, a singer who died in a plane crash, the air feeling heavy, and this deep, growing dread he can't shake. He tries to brush it off, but things only get worse once they board. Right as he steps onto the plane, he notices a crying baby, a man with a disability, and his friend even cracks a joke.
That's a good sign. Younger the better. We have up God to take down this plane.
His buddy jokes, "Come on, God wouldn't crash a plane with a baby and a disabled guy on it." Thing is, that plane wasn't being watched by God, it was being watched by death. And death really doesn't care about any of that. Alex sits in the back of the plane, but a few moments later, two classmates ask him to switch seats so they can sit together. He agrees and ends up next to his friend, but that uncomfortable feeling just won't go away. Even the tray table in front of him feels off. He tries to lock it in place, but nothing is cooperating.
Stuart Little.
Alex is still super anxious, but the boarding continues like normal. The flight crew finishes the final checks and everyone buckles up. Suddenly the lights flicker, the plane lifts off, and then turbulence hits. Eventually the turbulence stops and things calm down, but not for long. That's when everything goes to hell. Bags fly loose, oxygen masks drop, people scream, and the end begins. An explosion rips through the plane, opening a hole in the side and sucking several students out into the sky. It's terrifying and chaotic. Alex tries to hold on, but the cabin is falling apart. Amid all the destruction, he gets hit, and it's over. But right before the final moment, he wakes up. He's back in his seat, sweating, gasping, and the plane hasn't even taken off yet. Nothing's happened, but now he knows exactly what will happen if no one does anything. Route 180. Kimberly Corman is heading out for a weekend trip with her friends. She's driving, music playing, everyone laughing and enjoying the ride. But something feels off. She notices a truck pass by, loaded with giant logs, and then it begins. The cop driving behind them is distracted by a coffee spill, making him the first to go. Right after that, a guy on a motorcycle crashes and slides across the highway. He slams into one of the logs on the road, and his motorcycle follows him. Another driver, who had just used some not-so-legal substances, isn't paying attention at all. Next, Kat meets her end. All she manages to do is scream. Then there's Nora and Tim, their fate sealed by a water bottle that gets stuck under the brake. Kimberly tries to swerve away from one of the logs, but the car flips. Our lucky lottery winner Evan didn't get to enjoy his new car for long. Things end badly for both of them. Kimberly, still alive, watches Evan desperately trying to get out of the car as it burns, but it's no use. That's when she wakes up, panicked, breathless, but still behind the wheel. Devil's Flight. It was supposed to be just another fun night out with friends. The amusement park was packed, colorful lights lit up the place, and adrenaline was the only real danger anyone expected. Wendy Christensen was taking pictures, smiling, pretending everything was fine, but deep down, something felt wrong.
You okay?
And once she's locked into the Devil's Flight roller coaster, that feeling only gets worse. Even from the first climb, something's off. Then the signs start to get clearer, like fluid leaking from the car. Things go from bad to worse in the loop when Frankie, who ignored the no cameras rule, ends up dropping his. The camera hits a hose that was already loose, causing a short circuit. The safety bars pop open mid-ride. One of the wheels loses a bolt, causing their car to detach from the rest. And that's when Death makes her first move. Lewis tries to hold on for dear life, but there's nothing he can do as the coaster flips through the loop. Kevin even risks his own life trying to save him. But it's not enough. Lewis dies. Now the ride is completely out of control. It enters another loop but doesn't have the momentum to make it through. Everyone gets stuck. hanging upside down. That's when Death takes out 3 at once: Aaron, Ian, and one more person. Later revealed to be Wendy's sister. Wendy and Kevin manage to get their car moving backward, but Kevin's shirt is caught and he can't sit back down. That's what ends up killing him. Finally, the car flies off the tracks, launching Wendy into the air. Then she wakes up, still strapped in, still in the coaster car. The ride hasn't even started yet, but Death is already waiting. The Autodrome crash. It all starts at a NASCAR-style speedway right before a big race. But if you know this franchise, you know this isn't about sports. It's about Death checking off her list. That's when we meet our new main guy, Nick. He's the one who's about to have the vision, and it all starts with the little things. Nick senses something's wrong but doesn't have time to figure it out. Nearby, a mechanic accidentally leaves a wrench inside the exhaust of one of the cars. It zooms off and the wrench drops onto the track. Seconds later, another car hits it, and everything goes downhill. A tire flies off a flipped car and heads straight for the first victim, Nadia. Chaos breaks out. Everyone runs, but not everyone makes it. Like the most hated couple in the movie who end up getting split up, literally. Samantha goes through everyone's worst nightmare at an event like this. She gets trampled. Then she's hit by an engine. Game over. Andy, frozen in shock beside his girlfriend's body, soon realizes he needs to run too. But he doesn't make it far. Out of nowhere, a voice calls out. It's a security guard telling Nick and Lori to follow him. Meanwhile, Jonathan meets a quick end, crushed against a wall by a burning car part. Then Nick and Lori find Hunt and Janet, but maybe that was a mistake. Lori and Nick keep fighting to get out. They almost get crushed by falling concrete. Finally, a huge explosion goes off, taking the security guard and Lori with it. Nick gets thrown into a metal pole, and then silence. Nick wakes up, right back where he was. Time hasn't passed, but now he knows exactly what's coming. The bridge. This time, the story starts in New York. A group of employees from a paper company are on a bus heading to a corporate retreat. But even before the bridge comes into view, something already feels off. Sam, our main character this time, starts to feel weird the second he steps onto the bus. And that feeling only gets worse as they drive across the North Bay Bridge, which, by the way, is under construction. But instead of making things safer, the construction seems to have made everything worse. Cracks start forming, cables snap, and all hell breaks loose.
Molly, come on!
Peter freaks out when he sees Candace running in the complete opposite direction of where she should be going. Yep, Candace is the first one to go. Isaac, who's locked inside the bus bathroom, barely has time to react. The ground gives way and the whole bus drops, taking him with it. The group splits up, trying to escape. Olivia gets left behind after bumping into a big guy and losing her glasses. Molly and Sam keep running, even as the bridge is falling apart behind them. That's when they hit one of the biggest challenges: crossing a narrow metal beam.
Do it! You do it! Don't look down!
Sam feels bad about Olivia and runs back to help her, while Peter keeps running for his life. Olivia starts crossing the beam too, but it's not as easy for her as it was for Molly. Then we get a quick and brutal ending for Nathan, who's hit by a snapped bridge cable. There's panic everywhere, and Sam's kind heart leads him to try to help Dennis, but Dennis slips and ends up hanging from the edge. Hot asphalt pours down on Dennis, and that's it for him. With a lot of guts, Peter throws himself across the gap and grabs onto a metal grate, and Sam follows right behind him. Now they both need all their strength to climb up, but before they reach the top, a pickup truck on the bridge drops a load of steel rods. One of them goes straight through Peter. Then a huge metal sheet falls right towards Sam. Suddenly Sam wakes up, still on the bus. The Skyview Tower. This story starts back in 1968. Iris Campbell and her boyfriend Paul are among the guests at the grand opening of Skyview, a fancy new restaurant at the top of a brand new tower. At first, everything seems normal. Fancy dinner, live music, glass walls, a vibrant atmosphere. But then there's this annoying little kid. Seriously, this brat. He ignores the security guard and throws a coin off the top of the Skyview, and that's all it takes for Death to start her plan. The glass floor underneath them starts to crack, and gas leaking from the pipes begins to fill the room. Iris starts feeling weird. Within seconds, chaos erupts. People are falling hundreds of feet to the ground. Down below, workers from the building have no idea what's going on until they see bodies hitting the pavement. Inside the tower, Iris has to go through one of the worst things for someone in love: watching the person she cares about nearly die and not being able to help. The chaos keeps spreading. The head chef accidentally sets some guests on fire as they run in panic. One of the women, completely engulfed in flames, runs straight into a room filled with gas, and boom. Iris manages to escape and joins other survivors heading for the stairs, but Death has other plans. The rules never change. In an emergency, don't use the elevators, but nobody remembers that rule now.
Please, I need to get to the controls. Let me in. Please, sir.
Even with the elevator packed, one guest tries to force his way in, but ends up stuck between the doors, and then the whole thing crashes. Suddenly, the tower starts to tilt and split, making it impossible to stand. Iris tries to help another guest but fails. The woman ends up crushed against the glass like many others. Her fate isn't looking great either. And remember that annoying kid who skipped the line and somehow made it downstairs? Yeah, he didn't make it either. Iris wakes up, still in the tower before any disaster happens. Terrified, she does everything she can to stop the worst from happening. That night, Iris manages to save many lives. Nothing bad happens, but those lives were never meant to be saved. Death was cheated, but only for a while. Decades later, in 2025, Iris's granddaughter, Stefani Reyes, starts having dreams filled with the same details from that night. And, well, the rest you'll discover in Premonition: Bloodlines. If you liked this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments which opening scene is your favorite from the series. Personally, I really love the Route 180 scene. Here on screen are some other great videos for you to check out. See you soon!